This is a Newsmax breaking news report. I'm Michael Smith. Thank you for joining me on Newsmax TV. We do appreciate all of your support to the network. We're going to go ahead and bring you this special breaking news bulletin at this hour. Right now, President Obama will be taking to the podium, or someone from his transition team, shortly, sometime and somewhere in Washington in the next 3 minutes. Our own Cameron Stanford, Newsmax correspondent, is in Washington on the phone. What is going on? Do we know anything about the press briefing and where it's going to be held? Because they have not told us anything about where it's going to be held at all. But we have a couple minutes until this briefing is supposed to start. But we do thank you for joining us on Newsmax. What's going on in Washington, Cameron?
Yeah, thank you, Michael. Right now I'm here waiting outside the White House where the event is believed, where we believe the event is going to take place, as that is where the White House is. We're unsure at the time, but we will update you so that our viewers and those in the Washington, D.C. area that are qualified may also come to the briefing as well. The Obama transition team has not released much information as they haven't released a lot of information about this press conference. All I know is pretty much as you just said. We got an announcement about 2 hours ago that there was going to be a press briefing at 4:30. I would assume that the president's press
Okay, I want to
secretary
interrupt you. I have a game
will
link,
be
and my newsroom
will
is
be
telling me we
leading.
have somewhere we can go. Let's hurry up and wrap up that thought, and
Yeah,
we're going to go on break and
I
go to the press room. Go ahead.
all right. I just want to say before we click close, I would assume that Barack Obama is going to be speaking as well, but as of right now, I believe that he'll be speaking as well as his press secretary. But that's all I know right now. We'll update you once we come back from the break.
Okay, thank you. Newsmax will be right back, and the next time you see us, we will be in the press room. We'll be right back from Washington.
You're better than the best.
Yeah, I like this right here. Makes me feel free. It's got that, that boom. Ba-dum, bum, ba-da-da-da-da. Mr. Ba-dum, bum, ba-da-da-da-da.
Good evening, everybody. I'm just waiting on some other people to come on stage with me, too.
Okay, this is Michael Smith from Orlando, Florida. We are waiting for this press briefing to start. I want to apologize for our camera angles. The incompetent people at the transition team are refusing to free cam us, or for whatever reason. So Obama is talking. So let's listen to President-elect Obama.
Incoming Press Secretary Tyler Lockton. I've known Tyler since he worked for Speaker Spence back in 2001. He spoke a couple of times walking the halls of the Capitol. He is a bright and educated figure, and he'll execute his duties to the fullest extent. So Tyler Lockton will be the incoming press secretary. With that, I'd also have the honor of introducing Ed Hastings, the former deputy director of the FBI, to be national security advisor. Ed has a colorful experience when it comes to our national security. He has spent decades in defense of our country, and with him in this position, he'll do an even better job in protecting our citizens and our interests. I'm also announcing LaRoyce Hawkins as the incoming assistant to the president and director of the National Economic Council. LaRoyce has served under multiple financial institutions in the past, and I look forward to working with him in the White House. He is a key figure in helping restructure America's economy and getting our country back on track. I'd also like to take the time to announce Andrew Cooper as assistant to the president and director of the Domestic Policy Council. Andrew is a former reporter and donor of CNN. He's a dedicated public servant to the facts and an advocate for civil rights. He feels strongly about the direction of our country, whether it's healthcare, education, social programs, or the economy. He's a proven warrior in these areas, and he'll help steer the country in the right direction. Here's some other figures that I'd like to take the time to announce. Terrence Anderson, my chief of staff in my Senate office, to be Director of Legislative Affairs. Eric Garner, former representative and Democratic whip, to be Director of Public Engagement. Hugo Walker to be Director of Oval Office Operations, and Nick Beckham to be Counselor to the President. That's all the announcements I have today. Oh, one more announcement. We have Tom Brockhart, the incoming assistant to the President and Chief of Staff to the Vice President. And I believe that's all the announcements I have today, so I'm welcome to be taking questions. Just raise your hand. Michael Smith from Newsmax.
Yes. Well, first off, thank you so much for hosting this briefing today. We do appreciate it. So my first question is the transition going smoothly? How are things going on the transition so far?
Okay. Cameron from, I believe, Newsmax.
Hello, Mr. President. Thank you for being at this briefing today. My question is, what is the Obama administration's terrorism plan, and what is their plan to get justice for 9/11?
Well, my administration is looking to uh, withdraw from Iraq. That's our number one priority. In protecting our national security interests, I believe Tom Barkhart, which I just mentioned, to become not Tom Bark. I'm sorry, Ed Hastings will be becoming the national security advisor. Um, he is very well versed in when it comes to uh, terrorism and protecting our domestic domestic security. We'll take a hard approach towards um, defeating terrorism and definitely defeating the Taliban and Al Qaeda. That'll be my administration's top priorities in the coming days.
And how will they do that? How will they defeat the Taliban and Al Qaeda?
Well, look, I think my administration will start redirecting forces from Iraq to Afghanistan because, let me remind you, the war in Iraq is not the war on terror. And I've said this many times throughout the campaign, and that'll be, as I said, one of the top priorities for my administration. Thank you.
Do appreciate you really appreciate you having this briefing, really. So my first question is, what are your plans for taxes? I mean, what's your tax plan? I mean, you're proposing different social programs and things like this for health care and things like that. What are your plans? I mean, how are we going to pay for these things, right? I mean, what's the main tax plan?
Well, my administration is definitely looking to create more tax brackets as we move into the 21st century. The wealthier become more wealthy, and we have to create more tax brackets so that we can adequately tax the biggest players who don't pay their taxes, who avoid paying their income taxes. So it's definitely another priority of this administration. Next question.
Okay.
Hello, sorry, my mic was muted. My question to you really is, well, since 9/11, previous administration has been pursuing Osama bin Laden, but to no avail. Are you confident that during your administration you'll be able to finally track him down?
Oh yes, as I just previously stated, the look for Osama bin Laden will be intensified, and the war on the war on terror will be intensified to bring people who killed thousands of Americans to justice. And the only way we can intensify that is by withdrawing from Iraq, which is not the war on terror. Next question.
Hello, sir. I just have two real quick questions. Do you have any plans or keeping some troops in Iraq to train the not the Afghanis, the Iraqis, to fight their war?
As I said, my administration will be looking to completely withdraw from Iraq.
And my next question is, what is your opinion on the current status in countries in North Africa and the Horn of Africa?
Look, if these countries support democracy, the United States is behind them 100%.
All right.
Thank you. Next question. One question per person, as my communications team has told me. Okay, I'll take one more from Newsmax.
I thank you, Mr. President. So my question is, with Hurricane Paloma strengthening to a Category 4 and on track, already hitting several coasts off of Florida, what is your response to this hurricane possibly reaching the U.S.? Are you working with FEMA to get disaster relief out to our nation, possibly, and other nations, or what's the whole plan with battling this hurricane?
Well, look, I'm not president yet, but I have been in contact with these governors about relief after the hurricane is swept over. The thing I've been talking about with these governors is rebuilding the infrastructure, getting people shelter and safety and warmth, getting them food and water. That's definitely a top priority. So yes, I have been communicating with the governors, and I pray for everyone affected by these hurricanes, and I hope for their safety. And I hope President Bush is taking some initiative to give some type of relief to the people down there.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. Appreciate your answer.
One more from Newsmax, and then I believe we're done here. Hi.
Having me on again. So, my other question was to you, Mr. President. And I think I was kind of cut off. I don't think I hit the accept button in Discord. But my question was, is the transition going smoothly right now? How do you feel confident in your picks? Things like that. I mean, how is the transition moving so far?
Well, the transition's going great, and I do have a lot of confidence in the picks I've made so far. I'm not only picked them because of their experience, but I've picked them because I've connected to them on a personal level and got to talk to them as a person, their interests and their beliefs, and what they can do, for this country, and what they've done in the past, and just really getting to know the person. And I think that's important for a cooperation between the administration and its nominees and appointees to have. So I say the transition is going excellent so far. Thank you. Seeing there be no other questions, thank you everybody for coming to this press briefing. I am looking forward to talking to you all some other day. And stay tuned for what you have in the coming days. We'll be announcing some more appointees. Thank you.
All right, and that was President Barack Obama. He is leaving the press briefing area right now. This is live from Washington, D.C. This is our live report of the press briefing right now. We are live here. We do appreciate your viewership this evening, this afternoon. I want to just recap this press briefing for all of you. We're going to have Cameron Stanford, our correspondent on the ground there, probably join us on the phone again very shortly. But I want to just touch on what he talked about. He talked about some really interesting people that are going to be in his cabinet, and we'll talk about that more this evening on Newsmax Now with Michael Smith and with Parker Jackson this evening. But I just want to say that, let's just take a look here. Main thing that we touched on here on Newsmax was Obama's tax plan, and what does he plan to do with the taxes? He says he will not tax people that make under $400,000, which we know, many of you conservatives know that might not be true. But we're definitely going to continue to keep track on his tax plan. But I mean, his tax plan is what his tax plan is going to be at that point, And I believe my control is saying we have Cameron Stanford on the phone. He's like standing right in front of our camera right now. So Cameron, we got a lot from this press briefing here. We got some good exposure from this press briefing. We were able to ask many questions to the president here on Newsmax TV, more than really we have to a Democratic frontrunner, president-elect, etc. So what are your thoughts on this press briefing, and what have we gotten? I know we've gotten some real interesting people that are going to be in this cabinet, all of them which I believe are some really interesting fellows, but, in many good and bad ways, really bad ways, in my opinion. We'll talk about that more this evening, but what are your thoughts on it?
So, I want to save the majority of, I have my notebook and pen here writing down pretty much everything I heard from the briefing, a lot of good questions. And I, on behalf of Newsmax, I think I can say this on behalf of us all. I really appreciate that the president was speaking to us, the president-elect, sorry, compared to just his press secretary. It really gives an insight to what he plans to do compared to his administration. So I have a decent amount of things. I just want to save most of it for tonight when I come on with you again, Michael. But mainly he was telling us, as we covered parts on Good Day, he was reiterating his terrorism plan, his plan for bin Laden, and his plan to contact the governors about aid for Hurricane Paloma, which is now a Category 4 and is on track to hit the coast of Florida. But overall, a pretty good briefing today.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to have more insight on this briefing later this evening on Newsmax.
I also, if you guys remember, at the beginning of the briefing, the President-elect Barack Obama was telling us his new campaign members, and we're going to put some research into them and explain more about them tonight with Michael. Me and Michael will explain more about them. Although he was moving a bit fast for me, I did not get all the names. I reached out to the President-elect's office, and we should be getting more details from his new administration members before tonight's show. That's all I have. Thank you for putting me on the line, Michael.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to go ahead, and I want to let all of you know to tune in tonight, starting, I believe, I don't even know my own showtime. That's sad. But yeah, tune in tonight, guys, starting at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for America's News Headquarters with Parker Jackson. We're going to be talking more about the press briefing tonight with Parker Jackson. So if you want to know more about it and dig deeper into it, then tune in with Parker Jackson tonight. Other than that, that is all from us here on Newsmax, and as well tune into my show tonight at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Newsmax Now with Michael Smith.